BaseFM.
What is this? Pass the Heineken and mind your business.
BaseFM.
What is this? Pass the Heineken and mind your business. Roll up a fat one and pass it around.
BaseFM 107.3.
Yo, welcome to BaseFM. I'm Dylan C, and I have on the line George Evelyn, aka DJ Ease, aka Nightmares on Wax. He's going to be coming back to New Zealand for Splore 2016. So, George, welcome to BaseFM.
Hello, BaseFM. Hi, BaseFM listeners. How are we doing?
All good, man. Now, last time I remember seeing you perform was probably around 2008. It was a good few years ago, and I believe it was around the time of the release of the Inner Space Out of Sound.
Inner Space Out of Sound.
I think that was the album.
Yeah, I think we arranged that gig in the space of 10 days or something. I was on vacation in New Zealand, just came from Thailand. What was the name of the venue again?
Galatos.
I've been trying to remember that name for the last 8 years.
Now, over the next few minutes, we're going to chat about the history of Nightmares on Wax. We're going to listen to a few key pieces of music. We're going to talk about some of those albums that you've released.
Right.
But I'm going to take it back, not to the very beginning, but to a couple of key albums, Smoker's Delight and Car Boot Soul. When you think about those albums, do you think about the kind of legacy that was kind of established with, say, Smoker's Delight 20 years ago?
Yeah, because I mean, Smoker's Delight was an album that I made over the course of 5 years, and before I even decided it was an album, it was music I was making for me and my friends to listen to after parties and stuff like that. So we kind of travelled around, going to do gigs in Scotland and going back to my friend's house and stuff like that, and other gigs other places, and then go back to my friends and listen to like my cassettes of these loops that I'd made these instrumental tracks out of. So then finally release it in '95, and then everybody else kind of lived their own version of it. I don't think you could have ever planned for an album to sort of take up ground speed like that, just by word of mouth, really. So it's quite a unique situation. There was nothing. The only thing premeditated about that album was that I was going to make a hip hop chill out album. That was the only thing that was premeditated about it, and that album changed my life. It obviously put me in a stronger position, brought a lot more attention to Nightmares on Wax, and gave me the opportunity to put an actual band together and take the show on the road, which then influenced the recording of Car Boot Soul, because then I realised I could sample my own musicians, my own artists and stuff, and really experiment with the live angle, which then took me to re-recording the track Night's Interlude, which became Le Nuit with a 52-piece orchestra. So everything really opened up really from that project.
And we've only ever seen you as a Nightmares on Wax DJ set, of which you'll be performing at Splore. How often do you get the full live band project together?
Well, I mean, we spent the last year, as in 2015, celebrating 25 years of Nightmares on Wax. So we did a full tour of the US and all over Europe. We just never got to Australia and New Zealand. So hopefully, I mean, we're in the midst of writing a new album now, or finishing a new album now, which will be due to drop back into the year. So hopefully that time round we'll get to come out and you guys will get to see it. So yeah, I mean, I'm still doing the live shows. I'm still out there actively performing and stuff. So we just need to get to Oz. I think Oz and NZ. I think the last time that we came out there was probably not to New Zealand, but to Australia. We came out with the band was 2003, I think, which was for the Mind Elevation album. But yeah, we definitely need to get to NZ and let you guys see the show.
Now I'm going to jump ahead through the career and talk about another album, Inner Space Out of Sound. Now when I think about that album, what's most evident is there's a kind of a reggae feel, or I guess more of a sound system culture element reflected in both the artwork and the tunes. Now, did you feel as though that was a kind of a shift left, or a shift in sound in comparison to even the previous album before that, Mind Elevation?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Not a sound shift for me because I grew up around sound systems, so I was just more or less documenting and paying my homage to my upbringing. Really, the neighbourhood that I grew up in, there was like 4 or 5 reggae sound systems that were competing with each other, and one of them sound systems in particular, a sound system called Messiah. But my best friend at the time, his brother was one of the main guys that ran that sound system. So I had the opportunity to, after school, go to where they used to store their speaker boxes and build speaker boxes and watch the kind of growth of this reggae sound system. And that really, really inspired me to be attracted to dub music, to be attracted I was into electronics at that time. This is back in like 77. And just to be fascinated by that whole MCing and that whole reggae thing. So that even inspired me into collecting records, because the first artist I started really following was Scientist, the reggae producer from Jamaica. So that kind of going back there was really important to me, and kind of recognising that. So I kind of wanted to bring that as part of my journey in there. So I still wouldn't class it as a reggae album. I would class it as a sound system influenced album, because even when we did the live show connected to that, I kind of retreated back to it being vocalists and the DJ and sound effects and did a live show that had that context in there.
Now, one thing I remember when that album came out was a series of vinyl singles. I think it was The Sweetest and maybe Flip Your Lid. One came out as red, one came out as yellow, and I was just waiting for the third green one just to round out that trifecta.
Yeah, the follow-up single, well, we decided we did a follow-up 12-inch, which was African Pirates remix by Bart Pritchard, which we did in red, yellow and green, which was limited at the time. So we did red, we did yellow, and then the green wasn't a green. We just did a full-on 12-inch. So yeah.
Now let's keep this history lesson going, and we're going to jump ahead again to 2013 and the release of the Feeling Good album. Now, from what I understand, you'd recently moved to Ibiza. Do you feel as though that change in environment really influence and is reflected in that album?
I wouldn't say. Well, I think all your environments obviously have an effect on you when you're making music. I wouldn't say there's a specific style or sound that comes out of that, but to me, all my albums are a reflection of where I am at in my life, and a mirror of where I'm at in my life at that time. So, for me, Feeling Good was more about recognizing all the magical moments I'd had in my life making music and tapping into them again, and really just making. I think Feeling Good is a much more freer album, to be honest. And just really tapping into the element of the energy that comes with feeling good as well, and how you can transpire that energy to lots of people, whether you're doing an interview, whether you're doing a live show, or whether you're DJing. You know what I mean? And just having the realization of that and how that can snowball just by using the vibration of music.
Okay, now let's talk about DJ sets. You've released a few key, we go back to DJ Kicks. That was a seminal mix series, and yours is one of those ones that I always went back to. But more recently, let's talk about the Nightmares and Wax Boiler Room set. Now, I've watched that both YouTube or just listened to the mix, and it really does. Anyone who's a fan of Nightmares and Wax, can really kind of get into get sunk into what you've laid down there. Do you feel as though that mix in particular is an accurate representation of where you're at that point in time?
At that time of doing that mix, definitely. Do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously that was part of my sort of promo time of promoting Feeling Good, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know what Boiler Room was when I went to go do it. I just went to do it. Do you know what I mean? So, and I like to just play. I think it's important to just play, and obviously your songs, your music, but it's nice to just play, and that's how I'll approach doing the Splore shows, whether that is on the beach or within the festival. I just think it's important to just play, because I believe that there's an interaction with the crowd, and that's I don't mean by some people's quotes of reading the dance floor. I'm not like a massive believer in that. I mean in a sense of where I can find my groove and we can share it, and that inspires me then to play in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's really all I can say about that. Is again, I'm just there to make people feel good and enjoy themselves and lose yourself on the dance floor and go home happier than when you turned up.
Nice. And I think you also have the privilege of playing the coveted Sunday afternoon closing DJ set on the main stage at Splore. Now, previous people have done that. Mr. Scruff did it last year. Another memorable one was Nicodemus. It's always been a very iconic DJ set. The sun is shining, people are dancing, people in the sea dancing. It's just one of those amazing atmospheres and a great place to, as a DJ, to be able to do what they do.
Oh, cool. Well, looking forward to it. I've not looked online to see what the location's like. I've not done any research, so I like to just kind of turn up into the unknown. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, your little description of it already sounds beautiful.
Now, for the next part of this interview, we're going to go through a few key Nightmares on Wax tunes. Now, what I'd like for you to do is to choose 5 essential Nightmares on Wax tracks from your entire catalogue. And with those 5, a bit of a description about why you've chosen each one.
All right. Well, probably the first one I would start with would be Night's Interlude, which I mean, this is a bit of a 3-way one really, because it started as Night's Interlude. Night's Interlude. It started as on the first album, A Word of Silence, which was just basically me and my original partner, who started out with me, Kevin Harper, chopping up a sampled version of Summer in the City by Quincy Jones. And then on Smoker's Delight, I made a version called Night's Interlude, which was the first time of working with a live musician, which was Robin Taylor Firth on keyboards. And then, like I said before, through the success of Smoker's Delight, we got the opportunity to go and record with a 52-piece orchestra, and we created La Nuit, which is an adaptation of the first 2 songs. I know you asked for 5, but that's my 1. Just because it's an important record. That record changed my life. It stands the test of time. Even though it's my own track, I never get sick of hearing it. I will call it my baby. And to perform it live, and just them strings that we co-wrote with Robin Taylor Firth are just something really, really special. It touches your soul in a very unique way.
Great. Now let's listen to snippets of all 3 of those tracks from Nightmares on Wax. moving on to your second choice. What have you got for us?
The second tune I'm going to go for is a club track. It was our first single really on Warp Records. There's a track called Dexterous. It's a house track that me and Kevin Boy Wonder have made back in. The original version was made back in 1988, but we released it on a white label in July '89, and then that gave us the opportunity to meet Steve Beckett, who was working in a record shop, who was one of the original founders of Warp Records, and who called us up months later and asked us to remix it and release it on Warp in December '89. So that was the first song that we released, and we were the second sign on Warp Records at the time. So obviously, I would say it's a foundation tune. So I think that song really is it's relevant, it's important. It still sounds fresh when you drop it today. We never really used the word techno back in the day, but everybody calls it a classic techno track. I mean, to me, it's just a house track. It's Dexterous.
Was Dexterous from Nightmares on Wax. Now it's time for your third selection. What's up next?
I'm gonna pick a song off of Inner Space Out of Sound, a track called Flip Your Lid, featuring Ricky Rankin. It was a song that I just met Ricky like some months ago, touring. I think we'd done the Sonar Festival together. He was touring with Roots Maneuver. We just got on really well. We decided to make some music together. He came up to my house, and that weekend he came up to my house. We'd got off to go get some weed, and when we got off to get some weed, there was some trouble on the streets at the time, and we were just talking about how things had got tough and how the kind of police harassment thing was an issue, but also there was an issue with the younger kids as well and what they were doing on the streets and stuff. And we went back and we basically wrote that song, Flip Your Lid, just telling everybody to chill out, do you know what I mean? It's time to take time out, you know. And that song was literally written in a night, you know, so yeah, it's kind of a documented experience, really.
What are we supposed to do? Living in a time like this, what's the flipping do? So many people flipping their lips, keep taking the children to the park. Don't let them break your poor little heart. Don't let no one get you too dark. Bring no calm.
sorry the day you were born, when they cast away your arm. You know, man and woman, we have to talk. Even if you don't like what, even if it makes you mad and we ball. Sometimes it's lack of understanding, and me and you can manage before we break down and damage our mind, our heart and soul. Our mind, our heart and soul. Flip your lips, don't lose it. Don't flip your lips, don't lose it. Don't flip your lips.
Right, welcome back. We've got two more tunes to hear from Nightmares on Wax. The man himself has chosen them. What is your fourth tune in your list?
My fourth selection is going to be Be I Do from the album Feeling Good. This is a song that I worked with infamous jazz drummer by the name of Wolfgang Hafner. Originally the foundation of this song it's probably the first thing that we did when I met Wolfie on a neighbouring island called Formentera. I didn't really know too much about him at the time, but he just came up and said he was a fan. Would you like to make some music together? And we went into the studio, and that was the first. I had this loop running round, and that was the first thing we worked on. And then we kind of left the music for a bit, and then I remember I was coming back off holiday, and I was listening to what we'd done, and the lyrics just came to me. And the lyrics really, it's just about being yourself, tapping into your magnificent self, because everybody is magnificent. No matter how low you're feeling, you are a magnificent being, and it's important to do you, because there is only one of you in the universe, and that's my expression of it in this song. So, you know, that's why it's called Be I Do. So this is Be I Do.
I do me, the most magnificent. Live a life that's benevolent, with the highest of the highest, or anything equivalent. I do me, be the most magnificent. Just be, live a life that's benevolent, with the highest of the highest, or anything equivalent. I do me.
Nightmares on Wax on the line. We're running through 5 essential Nightmares and Wax tunes. What is your final selection?
My fifth choice, I think I'm going to go for a track called The Feeling, off of the album Thought So, which was released in 2008. We record the whole album Thought So was recorded on a road trip from Leeds to Ibiza. It was obviously I was leaving England. It was recorded originally in 2006. I was leaving England, coming to move to Ibiza, setting up my new life, and I came up with this crazy idea to set all my studio up on a camper van and drive to Ibiza and make an album and fly different people in on the way. And we stopped off at a 400-year-old finca near Segovia, which is near the Nevada desert in Spain. And I had Shovel, a percussionist that's worked with me for over 20 years. And Robin Taylor-Firth on keyboards, Chris Dawkins on guitar, who's synonymous guitarist on Smoker's Delight and Carbon Soul. I had China B, vocalist as well, that was on Mind Elevation. Trying not to forget anybody. Who else is there? And I got this loop going, and we basically just jammed this track called The Feeling. And this was just an expression and a recording of just good vibes. We were just all on such a good vibe after we just travelled through all these Pyrenees mountains, and we were halfway through the trip, and I think you just can capture the vibe on the song of what we were feeling. So this is The Feeling. This gives a bit of disco, a bit of boogie, and a bit of funk of what Nightmares and Wax is all about.
To DJ Ease, aka Nightmares and Wax. I just want to thank you for giving us your time and sharing some of the stories around those songs as well. Really appreciate it. Now, the reason why we are chatting to you, of course, is ahead of your appearance at Splore 2016. I'm sure myself and the NZ listeners have appreciated your time, and really look forward to seeing you at the festival and checking out your sets.
Oh, well, listen, I appreciate you and your support and BaseFM support for just, playing my music and giving me this opportunity to share a bit of my vibes on the airwaves. I look forward to getting there, and if you see me, come and say hello.
All good, and we'll do for sure. Right, Splore, 19th, 20th, 21st of February. Make sure you get yourself there. and check out the man Nightmares on Wax.
Yo, 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 yo. You listen to BaseFM, and this is me, DJs, aka Nightmares on Wax. Keep it locked.
BaseFM.
What is this? Pass the Heineken and mind your business.
BaseFM.
What is this? Pass the Heineken and mind your business. Roll up a fat one and pass it around.
BaseFM 107.3.